J-Lo, can you declare Cabernet now? Can you tell us some time?
No, you have to wait for the teams to come out for that one. I can say Lob and Logue have got up and they've had a good couple of weeks of training, but yeah, we're still going to work through that one.
And what are you weighing up then? Is it the old three? Can we play three forward, or is it the weather? What is it?
Bit of balance. What's best for Tabs? What's best for the team? There's a fair bit that goes into it. Do we need tall mix, small mix? Yeah, so we'll work that out later.
Are you concerned about the weather though, in relation to him at least?
Not really. I think the forecast is coming back. Looks like it's going to be mostly in the morning, so it might clear up. So, no, we expect it to be reasonably dry.
So it could be Fife and Meek out and the two boys in the two forwards? Or it could be the way?
It could be. Yeah.
Justin, how is hosting Fife affected your thinking on Saturday?
Yeah, well, we need a bit more aerial support because Lobby's going to play second ruck. So we just got to make sure, first of all, we can get a good contest on the ball forward to centre. So that's in our thinking, and we lose a little bit of that with Fifey going out of the team. So it definitely comes into our thinking. We haven't settled on how we're going to go yet, but yeah, it's part of it.
Are you worried that he might break down? Does that come into it?
Yeah, it does. Yep, he's hasn't had a great run with injury, and he's been injured within games this year. So yeah, that all comes into it as well.
If you take him in, will he be? How close will he be to 100%? Is he sitting at 80? You know, whereabouts he will sit if he plays?
No, he's if they declare him, if the medical staff declare him fit, they're 100%. We don't put him out there at risk, but we still need to take into consideration his injury history. He'll be on reduced minutes coming back from injury, like everyone is. So much goes into the mix, but he's 100% fit. He's declared fit to play.
If you don't have that available, Justin, where can you go for some of that aerial support?
We've got a bit of it in the team already from round 23. So those guys will come into the mix, and it's just whether we go a medium sizer or a tall, or we just go small and back the guys that got it to ground against GWS to get it to ground again.
How much do you take out of that last Bulldogs game? Chadham's played the first quarter, kicks 2 goals, looks really good. That sort of weighs in your mind on one side, doesn't it, as to whether he plays? Yeah,
well, I've said it plenty of times throughout the year. Tabs, at his best, is in our best team. No, we need him up and going. It's just the best path back for him. It puts the team under a lot of pressure when someone gets injured in a game, even though we've got the sub. When you're in and out of the team a lot, sometimes that plays on your own mind as well and plays into your own form because you're doubting your body. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. Tabs, there's no doubt if Tabs has had a month of footy under his belt, he'd be in our team. We value him highly. It's just that he hasn't been afforded that luxury this year, and that leaves a little bit of doubt around him.
In terms of selection, is there any thought to go left field with players like Jai Amos and that sort of thing?
No, we don't feel any of our selections will be left field. When we pick the team, we pick it on a body of work, and we pick players who are in form in certain roles. So no selection will be left field.
How much does it change the mindset? How much confidence does it give you knowing you can lock away Lob and Logue and have them back in the side going into it? And you've got some targets there.
Yeah, it's handy. Griff has proven that he's building on his forward craft, but he's proven he can set up goals and give us a contest. Lob is really important, clearly, with the contest he gives us, his leading patterns and his ability to go on the ruck. So, a fair bit's been made of those two. They've missed one game. So we don't feel like they've missed too much footy, and they'll fit seamlessly back into their roles. So we don't feel like we've missed a lot with those two. A couple of weeks off, one game of footy is not going to hurt their form. So, yeah, it's great to have them back.
Did you say Rory involved with ruck rather than Logue?
Yeah. Well, Lobby has been our preferred option.
So
in
that
the
obviously says, though, obviously says something to the confidence you have in his body, because Lo's been rocking fairly lately.
Yeah, I've said it before. He's responded well to having the couple of weeks off. It's freshened him up and got a few niggles right, and he's 100%.
Do you have a clearer picture on Nat and the extent of that injury, a possible timeline now? He's doing a bit out there today, a bit more than we might expect.
Yeah, well, he's had repeat injuries, and we're going to make it KPI based. So really, how he's feeling, and so I'm not going to put a time frame on it. But the fact you saw him out there today is a good sign that he's feeling pretty good, and he's not going to be too far away.
Is there a role for him to play on match day this week? Is he going to have anything to do?
He'll likely sit in the box. He'll be around the players, which is no different to what he's done when he's been injured throughout the year. Just because he's not playing doesn't mean he can't lead and can't be a good sounding board and share his experience with other players. So he'll continue to do that.
It seems like he's in really good spirits, though. It must be handy to have him after a setback kind of still going well.
Well, he's done a really good job of putting on a brave face around the players and not letting his disappointment affect others. And that's a sign of good leadership. So I'm sure deep down he's disappointed he's not playing and flat with the inconsistency he's had throughout the year with his body, but he's been able to mask that and, like I said, impart his experience and knowledge onto others and not impose his frustration on others.
If Tubbs is declared unfit, will you play him in the waffle or will you just put him on ice for the weekend?
No, we'll work through that. I think, like I said before, we need to get him up and going, whether that's we train him this week or play him in the waffle. We're still to work that out.
You've got such a young side, Justin. How hard has it been to players can often play the games 100 times in their head before they even get to Optus? How hard has it been to kind of harness that in the right way?
Oh, well, it's probably not hard, but it's just trying to educate and get the players to understand that it's a different time of the year, but it's only different because of the external focus, I suppose, crowd, the buzz around town, the media, do or die games, those sorts of things. So we've talked about them. Players have shared their experiences of what they've learnt from their first finals experience, and we've tried to focus on what's important once the game starts.
Has the Victoria being out, Justin, changed much about how you feel prepared?
Probably not much. They've got plenty of guys that can go through there and so much depth through the midfield, so it's hard to rank their importance to their midfield of each of those individuals. I just probably expect that Dunkley or Bond or Treloar or Smith or one of them will just take a bit more of responsibility around stoppage and become more of a midfielder rather than half-forward midfielder. So, they're a pretty good collective, and I think with their stoppage work and clearance work in general, they do it as a collective. They don't rely on one person, so it doesn't really change too much.
How about the way they play and the way they defended last time you came up against them? Are you expecting a bit of a different style from them at all in finals?
Well, naturally finals tend to be a bit more contested and higher pressure, and I think the occasion tends to lend itself more to a contested game. So, we expect them to draw us into a contest more, but we've been preparing for that, ready for it.
What did you make of that last game? It was bizarre, but first half, I think you had some record number of uncontested marks. Was that their strategy, and what was that about? Could it happen again?
I think we're a team that takes what the oppo gives us, and on that occasion they gave us the uncontested marks, so we took them. Whether that's what you want to go into the game doing or not is a different story, but I think our game style was proven throughout the year. We can win with 60 uncontested marks, we can win with 150, so it's more about taking what the oppo gives us rather than being a plan sometimes.
What do you think he was thinking about there? Did he think that was the way to bring you unstuck with you?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's a question for him. All I can control is what we do.
And Caleb yesterday at training looks like he's almost taking charge of it. Have you noticed that in him?
But not just yesterday. He's been doing that all year, and he's been a great young player for us, but he's been a great young leader around the club, and those moments are regular. So,
It's quite remarkable, isn't it? I mean, you're not surprised, but looking in, I thought, wow, 21-year-old, whatever it is, just going bang ahead of the final.
Yeah, I think some of a lot of our younger players have carried a lot of the load this year and played and held himself really maturely. And Caleb was one of them. But a lot of our younger players have been handed a lot of responsibility, and they've really grabbed that and grown off the back of that. So it didn't surprise me what he did yesterday.
Notice there was no James H on the track today. Is that anything to worry about?
Oh, I think he was out there.
He was?
Yeah, I think he was out there. Yeah.
What
It's pretty
about-
bit unassuming, Aishi. He's probably doing 5 or 6 different roles out there. Probably didn't notice him.
And Robbie Fairdue's obviously what's happening?
Maybe. Yeah, you'd have to ask him that. He's looks like he's put a bit of growth through it. A bit like mine.
Justin, you mentioned, I think before, that some of the guys that have played in finals shared their experiences. Like, did you get, there's obviously not many of them, did you get them sort of to stand up in front of the group or something?
It's probably not that formal. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, you find a lot of times throughout the year you go through new experiences, and there's someone within the coaching group or playing group that has been there or played at that ground or been in that situation before that you can learn off. So, yeah, we've tried to learn off Fifey's experience, Dave's experiences in finals and big games, and we'll continue to do that with every new experience we go through as a group.
And having the bulk of the team not having played in finals, like how have you sort of dealt with, handled and dealt with the whole preparation, hype? Sort of?
Well, all I can judge is their demeanour when they're at the club, and they've been really engaged. They've trained with really good intensity and really, really good purpose. And like I said, press conference last week, you can't make up finals experience. So we've got to start somewhere, and this week's going to be the first experience for a lot of our players. And win, lose, draw, we'll learn from it, and use that experience to grow us.
I can just circle back to a selection, but it hasn't always been a sub. The fact that it's there, how tempting is it to perhaps take a chance on a player that you wouldn't take if there wasn't a sub?
Yeah, it does soften the blow a little bit if you lose someone in a game, and that's what it was there for. And that does come into consideration. Yeah, it's a good
What was the
observation.
reaction when you heard Libra was out?
He wasn't disappointed because he's a gun and he's a clearance beast, but I think they can cover him. They play a lot of midfielders and they've got a lot of gun midfielders, so I don't necessarily think it helps us or hinders us, or I didn't really go there, but I understand he's an elite clearance player of the comp.
And how did you find the turf at Optus yesterday?
It's improved. Yep. So it's better. It hasn't had any traffic for a while now, given that both teams, WA teams, played away in the last round. So, expect the footing to be a bit better.
And the rain forecast seems to have come down all week. You've just praying to the weather gods to be that year and get rid of it.
Not really, because I think our wet weather's improved, and you don't sit there and worry about the conditions too much. You go out there and play on them, and I think some of the things we've been trying to work on will help us in wet weather. So we embrace whatever the forecast throws at us.
Justin, just really, how are you feeling ahead of your first final as a senior coach? When you came to the club, the side wasn't travelling that well. It turned around pretty quickly, but it's your first time at the actual helm in a final.
Oh, I'm probably a bit like the players, to be honest. I find myself drifting to game day and outcome based, and a bit of excitement thrown in there, but just keep bringing myself back to the process and making sure I give the players the best opportunity to prepare and put our best foot forward, because I know our best foot is good enough, so we just got to make sure we reproduce that.